this video, I'll be showing you my GoPro settings and helmet setup, whether I'm riding dirt and hitting jumps or riding my road bike. I have 2 modes perfect for each riding style.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. So we're down at the beach right now. It's absolutely freezing. It's the middle of winter. Just wanted to change up the scenery a little bit, but yeah, let's get into it. You're gonna be making that noise this whole time, aren't you? I've got my notes here in case... Please! Got my notes right here in case I forget anything. This guy, man, this guy. So to start, we'll go through the first mode, which is my road bike mode. I have an Arrive Profile V helmet with a normal GoPro mount stuck on the front, which houses my GoPro Hero 10 inside of the Media Mod. I use the Media Mod housing in order to plug in my Rode Lavalier Go microphone and wire it around my helmet in order to get that amazing quality audio that picks up my voice a little too well, a little too loud sometimes. For road bike riding, I shoot 4K at 30 FPS or 24 FPS, depending on what I'm shooting. If it's just a YouTube video, I'll just use 30 FPS.
Even though I had notes, I somehow managed to leave this out, but for the lens mode, I use Super View, of course.
Now, in order to get the smooth looking motion blur that you are all probably here for, you need to double the shutter speed for the FPS. So in this case, I would use a shutter speed of 1/60 since double 30 is 60. But now that the GoPro is not automatically changing the shutter speed to best suit the lighting, the footage is gonna look super blown out. Now this is where the ND filters come in. I bought my pack of ND filters from Polar Pro. It comes with 3 ND filters ranging from an ND level from 8, 16 to 32. So 8 being the lightest and 32 being the darkest filter. ND filters are basically sunglasses, so you replace the GoPro lens with the ND filter lens and it darkens the footage and brings the overexposed image back to normal. Now you should have the cinematic smooth looking motion blur. Only thing is, GoPro relies on a sharp frame in order to use its GoPro stabilization. And if you have a lot of motion blur going throughout every frame, the stabilization isn't really going to be able to do its job properly and it's just gonna look weird.
So this is an example of what happens when you try to have stabilization on as well as having smooth motion blur. It just doesn't work, but stick around, I have a solution to this later on in the video. I think you're gonna wanna hear it. And also stabilization crops in 10%, so it's not as wide. I'm on Super View right now and it's still super cropped.
So in this mode, I just leave stabilization off, and in my opinion, I think it adds to the footage and makes it look more extreme, fast, and realistic. So yeah, for the other settings in this mode, I use ISO minimum 100, max 800, white balance on auto, sharpness on medium, and color profile on natural. Those are really the only important settings you need to worry about. If you don't have an ND filter yet or don't wanna buy one, you can shoot like in the morning or at sunset when it's a bit darker and not so bright out, so you don't actually have to use an ND filter. It's just the natural lighting being darker acts as the ND filter, if that makes sense. Even at nighttime you can try it if you don't want to buy an ND filter or don't have it yet. Then to top the footage off, I just add a color correction LUT that I created, and it's in my latest LUT pack, the optimized LUT pack. So if you want that, you want your footage to look exactly like mine, top link in the description, go check it out. Oh, shit. Oh. Okay, to shoot this next part, I want to somehow get up on that tree. We're up. Now on to the second mode. So this is the mode that I use when riding either my Sur-Ron or 125 or doing any type of motocross off-road dirt riding. I use the Fox V1 helmet and I have a pretty interesting GoPro mount setup going on. So basically I put a plastic plate behind the chin mount section, and then I got the GoPro sticky mount with a long neck GoPro mount inside of that sticky mount on the outside, and then the chin is here and I put it in, and then I put screws through the plate into the mount and it just sticks on there like that. Pretty extreme and unnecessary setup, but it's very reliable and durable and nearly unbreakable. Is it okay?
Yeah, it snapped off.
It's snapped off. I have the same mic setup running in this helmet as I do with the road bike setup, so it's just the Rode Lavalier Mic Go. So for this mode, I use 2.7K instead of 4K just to save SD card space and battery life, but it's up to you if you want to use 4K, 2.7K, it doesn't really matter. I just do that just to save battery life and space. I shoot 60 FPS, so I have the ability to use slow motion in case anything crazy happens.
Something bad happened. Yo, it's me again. Forgot to say it in this part as well, but lens mode is Super View again, of course.
Shutter speed of 1/120 since double 60 is 120. And then depending on how bright it is outside, I'll chuck on one of the ND filters, probably the lowest setting, so the 8 level ND. Now in this mode, there is smooth motion blur, but not as much as the 30 FPS mode. So the GoPro can handle using the inbuilt stabilization since the frames aren't as blurry. So I just use the standard stabilization mode and it looks amazing. No need to use the hyper boost or anything. I don't really see the point when you want your footage to look extreme, like you're actually hitting bumps and stuff. And the standard stabilization is the perfect in between, I think. Coupled with the motion blur, like this is the perfect setup. You could even use this setup on the road bike one if you want to have slow motion as well. It's completely up to you, but I wouldn't recommend using the other setup on this one because it'll just be too shaky. You need a bit of stabilization to actually see what you're doing. I hope I'm explaining this properly because otherwise you're gonna have to like study this video and watch it several times. For the rest of the settings, it's the same as the other modes. So the ISO minimum 100, max 800, white balance on auto, sharpness on medium, and color profile on natural. And again, slapping on one of my color correction LUTs from the optimized LUT pack that you can get from the top link in the description or my Patreon page. I'm just starting up this Patreon thingo, so this is the first little announcement, I guess. So go have a quick little look at the benefits and stuff you can get from it. Links in the description. But yeah, if you followed along, you are now going to be able to get GoPro footage that looks like this. Keep in mind though, your GoPro is pretty much now in a complete manual mode, so you've got none of the automatic benefits that the GoPro has, the easeability that GoPro gives you. But with practice and experience, you'll be able to learn all the numbers and little things really easily and quickly. And you'll probably even come up with better settings modes than mine that suit your situations. And if you learn anything from this video at all, let me know and show this with respect by subscribing, liking, and commenting. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh my.